actually, back after the vaguely familiar, there's another sort of tiny little side project, Cambodia in LA. You say you're hiding out with coal.
Oh, this was
in a thing called the Nitronic Research Wind Tunnels, whatever that is.
Nitronic Research Wind Tunnels, yeah. It's now inhabited, or at least last time I looked, it was inhabited by the singer from the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, Wendy. Which I was sitting in a Mexican restaurant up the street with Cole, and he revealed that she was now living in his old house, and I was like, can we go round? To which Cole replied, and I think it was the first time I'd ever heard the expression used, yeah, I'd hit that. You do what? Particularly unfortunate phrase, really. Yeah, well, let's look at the chronology, because it was fucking mental. 1991, post condition, sort of from the summer of 91 on. We did the vaguely familiar stuff. Then I went on holiday by mistake with Deirdre and Sumishta, and then other folks sort of turned up. Gil Norton, who produced Echo and the Bunnymen, he turned up in Dublin, where we'd gone. Then we went on to this ludicrous festival out in somewhere near Tipperary, in a village. And that was insane. Everybody was there. Elvis Costello was there, Billy Bragg, Happy Mondays, The Lars, Transvision Vamp, Van Morrison was there. It was a mega festival. And somehow I allowed Deirdre to talk me into going to this. And basically spent several days barging through incredibly dense crowds to fetch her glasses of Jameson's. And it was at that festival in the backstage area, sitting at a lovely table on a lovely summer's day, when Dave Kavanagh, the journalist, leaned across to me and said, Pat, Flann O'Brien was a desperately unhappy man. That was exactly where that happened. And by then, my head was absolutely fucking fried. You know, we'd had all the sort of wife Sumishta business, we'd had all the Conditioned Blue business, we'd had all the vaguely familiar business, and now we're on holiday by mistake. And yeah, my brain is getting really, really tired.
So you go to hide out in LA.
So I fucked that all off. Had a bit of a snappy footy temper tantrum. Stomped it all off. Went back to London. And saw McGee. And I said, Alan, fuck this shit. I'm off to LA. Because Deirdre had said, she said, look, when we're done with all this, you know, come over, you can come and stay with me in Los Angeles, in Santa Monica. So I went back to London, had a couple of days sort of seething, and I found myself in the back of a taxi with McGee, and I was venting. I was going, fuck this fucking shit, man. I'm going to fucking Los Angeles to relax. God bless him, the president started to laugh uncontrollably, and he went, Pat, you are the only person I know who would go to LA to get his shit together. And so he actually said, if you go to LA to get your shit together, I will give you $5,000. I went, sure, give me the $5,000, you know. Fucked off to Los Angeles, got out the airport, phoned Deirdre, not at home. She's done one of her vanishing acts. She's gone off somewhere else by mistake. And I am at LAX, alone, with no driving licence, wondering what to do. So I phone up Cole. I say, Cole, I think I'm coming to stay. He goes, when's that going to be? I said, now. Got a cab up to the wind tunnels, moved in there, and I was there for about 4 or 6 weeks. And it did get me together, actually. Yeah. So I come back from there. Oh, yeah, Cambodia. Cole has a band called, or had a band called, I don't believe it. I've forgotten the name of Cole's band. The album is called Come Down from the Hills and Make My Baby. And the band are called, for heaven's sake, Nitronic Research. That was their sort of, umbrella company sort of attitude. I cannot believe this.
Carry on. So you're...
What the fuck? I'm sorry. Look, I'm 3/4 of the way through the first spliff of the day, and I've forgotten the name of my best mate's band. This is very, very alarming.
Come down from the hills and make my baby.
Yeah. See what that gets you on the internet. Cousin Roy, Icky Shivers, Cole, Jen. What were they called?
Oh, what, Downy Mildew? No, not Downy.
No. Jen was the singer from Downy Mildew. You've got that right. But she was also singing in Brain Dead Sound Machine. Unbelievable. Brain Dead Sound Machine. And they actually, they had a right laugh. They made a kind of hideous, parodic industrial metal. And they really were just taking the piss. But they got a deal with Wax Trax in Chicago, who did a lot of that sort of industrial stuff that was quite serious. I think they had Ministry and people like that. Wax Trax it was who put the KLF out in America. So, they were quite a serious, muscular label. And somehow or other the Brain Deads got signed to that. And they toured nationally and they did all kinds of pranks. They were a fantastic, real conceptual band, Yeah, I don't really know what undid them. Just personality difficulties, I guess. So Cole played guitar and was like one of the guiding spirits in that. And he'd got some backing tracks lying around his house. So we took one of them. We did Cambodia, but We Are the Traffic, which is a remark he made as we were trying to get out of the LA Dodgers stadium. And I was going, fuck's sake, Cole, look at all this traffic, man. He said, Pat, in a very real sense, we are the traffic. And I said, whoa, we are the traffic, Darryl. Because we've just been watching an intense, I don't know about you, but I find baseball is, I'd rather be dead than watch baseball. It's more exciting. I honestly, I went in there stoned as arseholes, I got a bag of Neil Young's grass from a mutual friend, and I'd smoked a lot of it that afternoon, and Cole said, right, we're going to see the Dodgers. And we went in this stadium, and we sort of mucked about inside the building, and then we came out to where the seats are, and we were about 700 feet off the ground, and the thing was so arranged that the steps dropped down really, really steeply. So it was really sort of shallow and really steep. So that as you were coming down the steps, it really was like flying through the air. It was absolutely terrifying. I was off my nut. Like, that mad, skunky, sort of borderline hallucinogenic stuff. And I'm stood at the top of this incredibly steep staircase. And it's all floodlit below. Everything's floodlit, which just adds another layer of hyper-real horror to the whole situation. And I'm going down those fucking stairs with both hands on the railing, like a fucking pensioner. I'm about 32 years old, and I'm going down that thing like a pensioner. Absolutely terrified for my life. And we make it to our chairs, and we sit there for about 6.5 hours while nothing happens down below. And the only interesting thing at the whole game was they had this player at the time called Darryl Strawberry. And Darryl was regarded by the fans in rather the same way that Tottenham fans used to regard Benny Asuikotu. A one-of-a-kind potential liability. And there was this feeling amongst Dodgers fans that Darryl would drift off while fielding, which is why a certain section of the fans passed the interminable, tedious game by going, "Oh, Darryl! Oh, Darryl!" just to make sure he was still paying attention, like. And so we take Cole's deeply incisive remark about the traffic, and we take Darryl Strawberry's misfortunes, and we take this evening of stoned horror turning into like catatonic tedium, and we try and wring a couple of drops out of it, and that was We Are the Traffic. Sumo Sonic recorded it later on. Very good version, actually. I'll play it to you in a bit. But we never put it out. I'm not sure why, but we didn't.